With Met season upon us, it is time for me to live vicariously. I also figured, why stop at one? So here's what I would have worn to the past few Met Galas. I'm going to be looking at Camp, Notes on Fashion, In America, a Lexicon of Fashion, In America, an Anthology of Fashion, Karl Lagerfeld, A Line of Beauty, and of course, Sleeping Beauty's Reawakening Fashion. Mouthful. Starting with Camp, my favourites were Lupita Nyong'o, Zendaya, and Madeline Petch. I mean, look at the structure on Maddie's mint dress. It's so ethereal. Lupita has like drag makeup and a whole neon rainbow on her shoulders. And can we talk about Zendaya's whole transformation sequence? Speaking of transformations, Lady Gaga put on a whole performance, and am I supposed to not talk about that? Okay, here's my mood board. To me, Rocky Horror epitomizes camp, but also we have to hand it to Effie from the Hunger Games. And has Billy Porter not served at every single carpet ever forever? Rip to 2020, but let's move on to 2021. My faves were, I always want to pronounce it Kira because I'm Irish, but I'm pretty sure it's Sierra. Sorry. Anyway, Sierra absolutely slayed, as did Nikki DeJager, aka Nikki Tutorials, and Lupita's back again on this list. Let's talk about this jersey gown and matching football bag. This is so Met to me. I loved a lot of the political outfits, but Lupita really brought style, balancing the political edge with a classic glam. And Nikki, after the horror of her not being able to control how she came out, Nikki really owned her tribute to Marsha P. Johnson and her own identity. As for my mood board, I also want to try my hand at a political but make it glam vibe. The Irishness may seem out of place, but I want to pay homage to the huge amount of Irish immigration in America, especially because the Gala is New York, which has a sizable Irish presence. I was inspired by the movie Brooklyn, starring Saoirse Ronan as an immigrant in the 1950s. Here is also a deeper explanation as to why I wanted to do this, which you can pause and read at your own leisure if you want. Moving now on to 2022, I loved Billie Eilish, Lizzo and Nicola Coughlan. And you ought to know by now that I love a transformation, so can we talk about Blake Lively? I love that Billie referenced an actual dress from the time period. Lizzo also took aspects of the style of the time and took the gilding literally. And Nicola, maybe it's my Irish bias and maybe it's the black and pink, but I love that there's aspects of this thing from the time period, like the sleeves and the bodice and the feathers and the cape, but it's also black and pink. So I could have continued my Irish theme for this mood board, but I thought Anna would judge me if I did that. So I took some paintings and fashion plates for my inspo. I think though I'd fashion it up like this, playing with the shapes of the era, but also putting a spin on it, and frankly, a comfier spin. Not that the Met Gala has ever been about comfort. Moving on to the controversial Karl Lagerfeld, I have so many faves from this year. Lu Wen, Simu Liu, Dua Lipa, Anne Hathaway, and can we discuss Cardi B? I also have to hand it to Jared Leto. Love or hate his mascot suit, he sure did that. And then, what he actually spent the night in was the real deal. And Doja Cat was dedicated to the point of meowing. I love it. Wow. I don't even have a mood board for this because if I had Chanel money, I'd just be going in Chanel. Okay, Sleeping Beauties. Of course, I don't have faves yet, so let's talk about the theme and see what we can figure out. There's a lot of emphasis on sensory fashion, and let's talk about that. I think there's going to be a lot of different textures, volume in the skirt and sleeves, curated perfume choices maybe, and interesting shapes. I also think we're going to see a lot of flowery, whimsical, fairy tale magic. I'm imagining like an influence from the Maleficent movies. I'm envisioning a lot of patchwork, maybe the vintage redone style in Japanese thrift shops. I can so see people doing like mirrors and feathers and little details, you know? I'm really hoping for bells as well. I've mentioned already that I think perfume is going to play a role. Possibly like brand ambassadorship will be relevant, but I think maybe even people might curate bespoke scents. I 100% expect to see 3D elements and flowers and mirrors and just something different. If I were going to this Met Gala, I'd finally have an excuse to buy from either Toyota Mitoshi or Shot Renette. But there are also a lot of names like Gunnar Dethridge who would do this style so well. I haven't mentioned taste as a sense yet, but I swear to God, if anyone does edible underwear, I'm moving to Pluto. Jared Leto, I have my eye on you.
Oh my God, what is that?
Here's my actual mood board. Effie's back, as we've got shape and florals. The hair clip is from Etsy, by the way. This one image of Helena Bonham Carter as Rose in Ocean's 8, I feel like she wouldn't be out of place. Oh, and if you're interested in Ocean's 8, you might want to subscribe. We can only hope I'm right. Maybe someday Anna will notice me and I'll get to go myself, but for now, a girly can dream. I'm thinking I'll probably end up doing like a top 10 or something on my blog if anyone is interested. And please leave your ideas for what you'd wear in the comments and leave a like if you feel like it. I'll see you on Met Gala Day with a new video. Bye girlies!